Welcome back, and it's so good to be back. Before I start the show, if you never saw my last video where I unboxed my YouTube Creators Award after reaching 100,000 subscribers thanks to you at home, go and check that video out. It's 17 minutes long. I'll give you a little bit of history behind the channel and what makes everything tick. It was a little bit emotional, but you know, this thing only happens once, so I wanted to give you a nice little video to share the opening with you. Well, this week, a curry that I know a lot of you have been looking forward to, and it's one of the nation's favourites. It's chicken tikka masala, possibly the UK's biggest export. Yes, that's right, it's a British curry formulated, many say, in an Indian restaurant in Scotland, probably back in the 60s, I think. This recipe has travelled all around the world now because it is that delicious. So today we're going to be keeping in with the theme of 30-minute curries. Obviously this one is chicken tikka masala, which is effectively two recipes in one. So you've got the chicken tikka and the masala, which is the sauce. Now obviously, so your pre-prep time is going to be a little more on this one. Now some of you might already have a chicken tikka recipe. Some of you might buy chicken tikka pre-cooked in the shops, you know, pre-boxed. I used to get the one from Iceland, does a job. If you haven't checked out my chicken tikka recipe video, which I did I think last summer or the summer before, it doesn't need to be updated because it, in my opinion, is the best Indian restaurant style chicken tikka recipe. Or you might want to cut corners and buy a patax jar of tikka paste and just do a simple version quickly. After all, these are quick curries. I am drinking a plum porter fruity red deep from the Titanic brewery. Do you know what, I'm all Titanic out now. I've been watching all the documentaries about that submersible. Sad that was, but I am fascinated by the Titanic generally. Right, let's give that a swig. That is absolutely beautiful. Someone sent me these and I can't really remember who it was. I do get a lot of emails and messages and my mind blows up, and whoever it was, thank you so much. Still getting through them, mate. Cheers for that. Right, so back to the chicken tikka. A quick recipe. So now when I made this yesterday in the garden, I was using my own restaurant style tikka mix, which is basically the mix that I teach you how to make in the video. If you don't want to buy this, I'll leave the description in the description box below if you do want to buy it, but if you don't, not a problem. I'll leave the entire recipe in the description box below so you can make this homemade chicken tikka. It's just so much easier putting like so many tablespoons into yogurt, giving it a mix, and there we go. There's a massive range now on sale of all the mixes that go with the curries from my channel. So what I would like you to do with this chicken tikka is when you get your large chicken breasts, and I used 1 kilo, I want you, rather than to cut them in cubes to start with, cut strips of chicken. This is good because the chicken will retain more moisture so that when you cook it, it will be more juicy and succulent. So once you've mixed in a couple of tablespoons of ginger and garlic paste, mix that through the chicken well. Right, leave the chicken to the side, then get a large clean bowl, add 200 ml of Greek yogurt, and we're going to add the spices to that. Now, using my mix, I use 7.5 tablespoons. Obviously, if you're following the recipe from my YouTube video, you'll just do that recipe as normal. Now, once you've measured out the spices into the yogurt, give it a good mix, then put the chicken that's marinated a little in the garlic and ginger paste and mix that through. Cover it in cling film and try and marinate the chicken for a minimum of 4 hours. Best possible option is overnight. And then what I do is I skewer up the chicken, place it on the barbecue, or you can use your grill. Don't be frightened to use your grill at home, or you can air fry it. But once the chicken is cooked, after about 15 minutes, take the chicken off of the skewers and dice the chicken up with a sharp knife. Do let it cool before you start cutting it because it might break, so just let it cool for about 5 minutes, then start dicing it into cubes. You will then have what looks like Indian restaurant chicken tikka with the lovely coating on the outside with all those lovely flavoursome charred bits, but you'll also have the hole that goes through the chicken just like you get in Indian restaurants. Now the chicken tikka obviously has got that lovely coating on it, and when it goes into the curry it's going to add more layers of flavour. Right, let's go over to all the ingredients here. So I have a kilo of large chicken breasts, marinated and cooked as I just described. And over here I've got 2 tablespoons of mixed powder, but you can use mild Madras curry powder. I've got 2 tablespoons of sugar. Again, with the sugar, this is a sweet curry, so you can need sugar in it or honey if that's your preference, but add as much or as little sugar as you wish. Some people want a really sweet tikka masala, some less so, so judge that yourself. I've got 2 tablespoons here of ground almond powder. I'm using this brand here. Here I have 1 tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder. The brand I use is Everest. I am not affiliated with them, but in my opinion it's the best. I've got 1 tablespoon of kasuri methi. I've got half a teaspoon of garam masala, half a tablespoon of tandoori masala powder, and a small little tin of coconut milk. That's about 160 ml. I'm using 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 6 tablespoons of tomato puree mixed with a little water, just so that it pours easy. So don't obsess about the water. Here I've got half a teaspoon of turmeric, 4 cracked cardamom pods, and a very small piece of cinnamon. That's how big it is in relation to my finger. Now I'm using 150 ml of single cream, 150 ml of oil. Do remember the oil can be skimmed off at the end, and this is divided by 4 or 5 people, so it really isn't a lot. Now with the blended onion, do you remember we've been frying down the onion that we've blended? If you've been watching my previous videos, I'm going to try something a little different this week. So once you've blended 400 grams of onion, you can cover it in a container and microwave it for 10 minutes as part of your pre-prep. Failing to do that, you can also boil it. I brought a saucepan of water to the boil for 6 minutes, and I boiled it for 6 minutes just to blanch the onions, just to take out that sulfuric taste. We really want to achieve no bitterness. Who wants a bitter curry? It's meant to be nice and soft and mellow so that it carries all those lovely spicy aromatics. So I boiled it for 6 minutes, drained it, run it under cold water briefly just to take the heat out, blended it, and here we have this lovely blended onion. Now this onion is going to form the base of the curry. You would put red food colouring in this if you was in a restaurant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the curry, and at the end I'm going to plate up. And I'm going to plate up in 2 bowls, one of them standard and one of them with colouring. And I'm going to call it a London tikka masala and a Manchester tikka masala, because I know when you go up north they are as red as Dulux paint. Down south they're a more natural orange colour. When I go up north and I see the bright red tikka masalas, I'm like, oh my God, is that radioactive? But I've got a mate up north who insists that it must be red. So that's what I'll be doing. They're getting so many hits, it is unbelievable. Right, so let's heat up our oil to start. Now remember, I try and keep these recipes as simple as possible, and I divide the cooking stages into 3 sets of 10 minutes, give or take. Do you know, one guy said to me, it doesn't include prep time. These ain't 30 minutes. The 30 minutes does relate to the cook time. Obviously, there might be 15, 20, 30 minutes for the prep time, depending on how quick you are. Do you know what? Joe Wick's leaning 15. The meals are 15 minutes to cook, but there's prep time. And also, I think Jamie Oliver, he does like 10-minute meals. And again, there's prep time for that. You know, vegetables aren't going to cut themselves and chop themselves up, are they? First thing to go in are the cracked cardamom pods and the cinnamon. Right, let's put our onion in, and we're going to fry the onion out for 10 minutes. Break it all down, give it a stir. Right, so I'm going to fry this onion for 10 minutes. I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock as usual, and I'll be back in 10. Okay, with a minute to go, and I forgot to mention 3 tablespoons of garlic and ginger paste. I'm always forgetting the garlic and ginger paste because I defrost it in the microwave and then I forget all about it. So give that a stir through. Right, so remember, make these in non-stick cookware. These are not BIR, they are BIR hybrids, and you'll be ready to go. Right, so that's 9 minutes. So next we're going to finish off the curry paste by putting in our spices. So that's the first 10 minutes done. But now turn the heat right down, really low, because now we're just going to be adding dry ingredients. And also, if you need a splash of water, add a splash of water. Right, so let's put in our dry ingredients. So mixed powder. Obviously, I've got these in little bowls to show you at home, but obviously you would put all your mixes in one bowl just to sling it all in the one time. Chili and tandoori masala powder. So basically this is a curry paste. So there's our curry paste almost done. Put in the almond powder. Now we're going to add in the tomato paste. There we go, that's that done. Give that a nice mix. Remember, the chicken's already pre-cooked, so that's why that's not going in now. Tikka masala, who would have thought it? Let me know in the comments what 30-minute curry you want me to do next. I've got a few on my mind, but I'm not quite sure. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add 400 ml of water. That was boiling water. I'll break down the paste and we're going to put the lid on and we're going to cook that for 10 minutes. Right, so that's the second 10 minutes. Total cooking time so far, 20 minutes. Let's take a look. Wow, look at that masala. Wow, look at that. That looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? That is beautiful. It's such a deep red at the minute, but there's a little more to do. So now we're into the last 10-minute phase. Right, what do we have to go in here? So let's put in coconut milk. Mix that through. This is where the tikka masala becomes all nice and decadent. And now we're going to add some cream. And then in goes all of that chicken tikka. Beautiful. And all we're going to do now is mix that through. Remember, this has already cooked the chicken, so it's really just about heating it through. And all of those lovely spices that we cooked that tikka in, that will also come off of the chicken. I love these charred black bits. They really give a nice flavour if you can get that. But remember, air fry, grill, barbecue, tandoor, you can cook it how you like it. Lid back on again, another 10 minutes. All we've got left now is the sugar, the salt and the kasuri methi. Of course, it won't be the same without a nice bit of coriander garnish. I'll be back in another 10. Right, so that's the 30 minutes completed. Let's have a look at this. See where we are with it. Absolutely beautiful. Oh wow, look at that gravy. There's 1.5 teaspoons of salt. 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to add half first, then I'm going to give it a taste just to see whether it's to my liking. And I want you to do the same at home, yeah? So mix all that through. And then this is the moment, as part of the Perfecto stage, the stage where you tweak and play with whatever it is that you're cooking to make sure that you get it how you want it. You can't do that at the earlier stages, but you can do it at the very end. Right, so turn that right down. Oh, that is amazing. But I'm going to go in with the rest of that sugar. That is absolutely divine. I mean, you make this at home, there's nothing that's going to come close to this from a supermarket. And I would say that you're probably not going to find better in a restaurant. Right, so let's go with that. That's perfect. Right, kasuri methi. And some coriander. Right at the very end, that is absolutely beautiful. So remember I told you down here in the south they're orange like this? Up north they're red. So when I plate this up, I'm going to give you a red one and leave one as orange. And you can make your mind up at home what you like. Do you know what? I even think I like it sweeter than that. So I'm going to put in an extra tablespoon of sugar. You know, tikka masala is on the sweet side anyway, there's no denying it. Right, I think it's ready to plate up. I'd already had a teaspoon of colouring in the pot and I've added the curry on top of it. Right, that's one tikka masala, and this is au naturel. So what we're going to do now is garnish it. And I haven't forgotten my signature, a nice piece of lemon. And there we have tikka masala for 4. There's 2 portions, 1 London, 1 Manchester. So now it's time for the taste test. Right, that time again folks, the best bit, the taste test. Oh, I'm tired after that. I'm going to go with the red one first. Shouldn't make a taste difference because remember colouring is just that, it's colouring. But I'm going to have a nice bit of chicken, a little bit of the gravy. Absolutely, with that tikka as well. It's one of those like moments, you know. It's what I'd call a moment. I'm having a moment, curry moment. If I got served this in a restaurant, I'd be absolutely amazed and blown away. Let's have a taste of the natural one. Just tastes amazing. I've got a pod. Bloody little bleeders. This curry is amazing. The fact you can do it so quick is a bonus. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It really helps the channel grow. Please go over to the Secret Curry Club. That's the Secret Curry Club on Facebook. Over 130,000 curry lovers sharing recipes and ideas and pictures. Go and join in the fun. I'll see you there. Any questions, post them on there. Got a nice team of moderators that are happy to help. That's this recipe finished, I'm afraid, and I'm going to be making my way. I'm going to make a nice garlic and mushroom rice. Summer's here. The flavours are in abundance. I'm waffling and talking a load of tosh, so that's my cue to leave. Love you all. Keep following, and I'll see you next time. I'm Al, and I'm out of here.